Mr. Vernuccio, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Chairman Ross, Ranking Member Lynch, and members of the committee, thank you for holding this hearing and providing me the opportunity to discuss the issue of official time in the federal workforce. My name is Vincent Vernuccio, and I am Labor Policy Counsel at the Competitive Enterprise Institute and editor of WorkplaceChoice.org. CEI is a nonprofit, nonpartisan public policy organization that focuses on regulatory issues from a free market and limited government perspective. WorkplaceChoice.org is a comprehensive, up-to-date website for news on labor regulations, private and government sector unions, pensions, and pro-worker legislation. Official time is not a good value for the taxpayer and does not serve the public interest. Title V of the U.S. Code allows federal government employees to perform union duties unrelated to their jobs while still being paid their government salary, which is ultimately funded by the taxpayer. This process is called official time. There is no legislative or regulatory requirement for the government to report to taxpayers how much of this time is utilized by government unions. In fiscal year 2009, federal government employees logged almost 3 million hours of work for union work, while still receiving a paycheck from the taxpayers. These hours are compensated and are not volunteer benevolence. Taxpayers should not be forced to subsidize union activity, and Congress should repeal the section of Title V that authorizes official time. However, as long as official time is allowed, taxpayers should have easy access to detailed information on its usage and its cost. Congress should require OPM to report official time usage on an annual basis and publish the findings online. Official time amounts to a significant and inappropriate government subsidy for union activity paid for by the taxpayers. Official time costs taxpayers over $129 million for work of no appreciable benefit to them. Those figures represent time and money that could have been spent on the government's other administrative duties. This does not include the cost of administering official time, union office space in government buildings, or official time travel expenses. It does not take into account the cost of dealing with the plethora of frivolous complaints stemming from the no cost to the union, but of much cost to the government, grievances. These expenses could raise the actual cost of taxpayer union subsidies significantly. Civil service laws provide many of the protections to federal government employees in areas where the union's scope to negotiate is limited by statute. This makes many traditional representation functions unnecessary and further decreases the need for official time. Federal employees do not bargain over wages, benefits, and many working conditions that are key points of contention for workers in the private sector and in many states. The Act covers merit system principles, personnel practices, labor management relations, and a myriad of other workplace issues. Statute gives federal employees many of the protections for which official time is supposedly needed. This renders the value of official time for activities questionable for both federal workers and for taxpayers. Federal government unions have hundreds of thousands of members and take in millions of dollars in dues each year. In 2010, the American Federation of Government Employees receipts were over $103 million. The National Treasury Employees Union exceeded $39 million, and the National Federation of Federal Employees, $5.5 million. These totals are only for the above union's national headquarters and do not include receipts from locals. In addition, there are many other unions that represent government employees that have not been mentioned. In some instances, these unions are not required to represent non-members, such as in front of the Merit System Protections Board or U.S. courts. These unions do have the money to pay for the representation of their members. It is unfair to force the taxpayer to foot the bill. If official time is not revoked, however, Congress should enact legislation to mandate its reporting. In its fiscal year 2009 report, OPM stated twice there are no legal or regulatory requirements to publish any official time data. OPM says it voluntarily chose to issue the call and guidance for fiscal year 2009. OPM's acknowledgment that it is not required to publish this report clearly indicates that the agency could discontinue it at its discretion. The need for the report is actually twofold. First, taxpayers should be able to know how much of their tax dollars are being used to fund official time. Second, required reporting of official time will allow federal employees to hold their agencies accountable if it is continued to be mandated by law. In conclusion, official time is a bad deal for taxpayers. Congress should repeal its usage and end the public subsidy of union activity. I applaud Congressman Gingrey for Bill H.R. 122, and short of that, it should also legislate OPM to report official time usage on an annual basis. And Congressman Ross, I applaud you for your potential bill. Thank you, and I'd like to thank this opportunity for the subcommittee, and I'd welcome any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Vernuccio.
Now, Mr. Vernuccio, you are here to support the Gingrey bill, and I wonder if you or the Competitive Enterprise Institute has prepared any testimony or analysis for any effort in any state to curtail collective bargaining of public sector workers there. Any other testimony? Yes.
We are preparing studies on pro-worker legislation and pro-worker movements across the states.
So the answer is yes or no?
The answer is on our website. Yes, we do have pro-worker bills.
I see my time has expired. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I assume you are aware that unions have to organize and carry the grievances of people who pay no union dues and are not members of the union. Are you aware of that?
Congressman, in many cases, unions do not have to represent non-members, especially in front of the Member Systems Protection Board and in front of U.S.
Are you aware that most federal government unions, in fact, carry the must bargain for all employees?
I believe that's a portion of their exclusive bargaining.
Mr. Gage, would you answer the question, please?